All right, hello. My name is Forzone. I have played this game for a long time, and I had a lot of thoughts about what's going on with the raid rewards here, and I kind of wanted to just ramble them out in a stupid rambly video. Um, I think a lot of the raids for rewards are cool, but there is a lot of glaring problems, and one reward that just completely sucks. But the main thing is the Mega Rare, and how people are not considering one very vital, crucial thing about this weapon and how it feels to play, and why I like it so much. Um, so let's jump right into it. We can talk about, I mean, this is just a teleport, and untradeable elemental fragments. I mean, this is basically, to me, this basically confirms that elemental spells are going to be extremely relevant in the next raid. So keep that in mind. You might want to get a harm. It might be time to get a harmonized nightmare staff, because this screams that elemental spells are going to matter. Like, screams it at the top of its lungs that they're going to matter. Increase the max hits of all elemental spells like by 2. So I mean, think about how relevant jewels for your Karis Partisan are in tombs. You always bring a Karis no matter what raid level. Always. Use it early, you use yellow late. The elemental spells will be relevant to some capacity. It's just a matter of how, to me. Which, judging by 2 max hits, it seems like there's going to be some elemental weak enemies in this raid that it'll be worth bringing a harmonized nightmare staff to this raid. And also they thought about doing elemental robes as well, so it is very much on the top of Jagex's mind, and they really want to do this, so just be ready for it. So the first reward is this tradable hybrid armor set. If we look at the armor set itself, I'm gonna be honest, I fuck with the top and bottom real heavy. Like, this looks, the top looks so good, the bottoms look complemented well. I love the grass here. This helmet sucks. Just, especially this face guard, terrible. Ugh. I don't want to look at this. I don't. It's hideous. I'm sorry, Jagex. Everything else, though, super solid. I love this. I love the grass on the shoulders, the stone chest with the stone parts held together by roots. Awesome. Love this. Remove the mask. So let's see what it says. It's basically saying that this is a hybrid melee and magic setup that is comparable to accuracy melee strength setups and comparable to Virtus robes in magic, magic attack and damage. Now, the problem with this armor set is that this is a high-level learner armor set. Why is this armor set? I don't hate the idea of this armor existing in the game, but why would this be a reward here? You know what I mean? Like, this is supposed to be the next biggest, hardest raid in the game, right? That's what they've been advertising it as. And we're getting a hybrid set that's like half Oath Plate and Inquisitor and half Virtus robes with no negative defense, which is cool. That's cool. Congrats, Reddit, on your new, you know, Mage Tank Inferno setup, but it has no place being in Raids 4. I don't hate this armor set conceptually as a learner set. This would be more fitting on, like, Yama. This isn't Raids tier armor. Like, it saves you inventory slots, but you have less damage from armor and from armor full switches on both styles. So why would you bring this? Well, none, really. I guess it's Biss Stab, but the Fang's already so accurate. Like, what? You probably wear, like, a Torva helmet and the chest plate of this, and then, like, Torva plate legs into Toa. I really don't think this thing belongs in this raid. And what I think they should do instead is do basically just a new magic set. Just make this Biss magic armor. If you've played for a long time, then you've probably been doing chambers for a long time, because it is a 9-year-old raid. If we look at Chambers of Xeric, this raid by far has had the most well-preserved uniques out of any raid. Like, Twisted Bow, obviously still relevant. Elder Maul, best defense reduction spec weapon. Kodai, best Ancient's casting staff is not really that relevant, but still. Dragon Claws, best DPS spec weapon in the game. Best mage set. Best defensive two-handed shield in the game. Best prayers. Best dragon hunting range weapon and best dragon hunting item in general. Best ranged offhand still. You know, what are we doing? What are we doing? It's been 9 years since this content was released, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 relevant uniques. All of these are still best in slot today. 12 of them. That's so many. They showed 4 here in this blog. They showed 4. I guess it's 3, 6. So it'd be 6. So half of this. I think power creeping Ancestral is okay. Not only because Ancestral has existed for so long, but Chambers, just by the very nature of the game progressing, has become infinitely easier. I remember doing Chambers 7, 6, even 5 years ago. Do a Chambers in just gear from 5, 6 years ago, and you will immediately notice a difference. It is so striking, the changes that are being made. And I mean, a ton of quality of life stuff exists now too, right? You get your guaranteed Elder Maul specs on Tecton. You get, you know, you don't have to inventory manage so hard. You know, all sorts of stuff they made a bit easier. You know, Mutadial doesn't assassinate you now. You know, you don't get nearly as wrecked on Mutadial as you did before if you know what to look for. So this content has been made way easier, and all of these purples are still relevant. So my opinion personally, just make BIS Mage Gear. And the rebuttal to that, I'm assuming, is going to be, what about the Shadow? Fair point. I would say the Shadow already is being nerfed. I mean, this has already been a priority set and said by Jagex, that the Shadow is going to be adjusted. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So the question is, do they do it with the release of this raid? With making new Magic BIS? I think that's the play. Because this hybrid gear's not it. It's not it. Love the look, except the mask. But the hybrid learner gear from the new hardest raid, no. This is not, you're not putting this stuff in the right place. That is not where that should go. Love the idea, but not where that should go. So that's what I think of the new armor. Cool idea, don't release it here. Next is the Rondash. I don't know. I like this thing in concept. It's really cool. Basically, the idea behind it is that, first of all, it's 2 flat armor. Why doesn't Justy have this? Mitigated store damage in charges. And the Shield Bash is a 0-tick spec that you can use instantly. This is so cool. This is so cool concept-wise. I love this. Love this so much. Why doesn't Justy have flat armor? Love this, though. I can see this being used at Nex. I can see this being used at some other places like Yama, because you use you use the Demon Bane at Yama for melee. You can use this at anywhere there's chip damage. This is good. If you're not getting chipped, this thing sucks because you're not getting the damage bonus and you're not getting the accuracy. So you want chip damage. So like Fasani's, this would suck. You do not put this with an Inquisitor's Mace. I will say, I am shocked that they are power creeping another top item. Like, they're fighting for the Avernix place in the meta, which anybody who remembers old discussions on Zybez about, like, Dragon Defender versus DFS, I can't wait for this discussion to come back, but why are we power creeping more top items? That's the kind of bummer thing about this shield, is that I love this thing, it's so cool, Why are we power creeping more top items? Not only the Avernic, but this thing has 2 flat armor, so it's Justy. It's touching Justy's turf as well. Like, why are we doing more Tob removal of its value? I don't know. It's kind of crazy to me that they're just nuking Tob. I don't really get it. I don't know why Jagex really wants to attack every Tob unique, which they have a melee crush, a melee crush unique that works very similarly, but we'll get back to that. So yeah, Melee Inferno. This thing's gonna be awesome with a Dragon Hunter Lance. I actually wonder if Dragon Hunter Lance will become meta again after getting bopped by the by Ulm. I don't know. It's cool unique. I think Tob uniques. My main takeaway is that this thing is super cool. Can we buff some of the Tob items with this stuff, please? Because I don't think Tob is dead yet. I don't think Tob has lived its full life yet. I think Tob could still be relevant today if it wasn't for the fact that the uniques were so trash. Like, if it isn't enough that this raid, that Tob is way more demanding and difficult than the other two, and it also has the added benefit of, hey, also all the uniques suck except for the Scythe, and even the Scythe is crashing right now. Like, I don't know. Other than that, looking at the numbers, this thing hurts. This is my only real big problem with it. This might be too much. 24 damage? This might be too much, judging by calcs. This thing might just make the Avernic irrelevant, looking at other people's calcs of this thing. So I'm kind of worried about, once again, this making Tob irrelevant stuff is just like not, it's not doing it for me. But it has to be rewarding for you to take chip damage, because if you just take an Avernic, then you just take an Avernic, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why just take the Avernic? If it's the same damage, why would you buy this? I guess so you don't have to worry about it. I don't know. I'm curious as to what other people think about this one. If I'm making this video because I want to talk to people about these uniques, because I think they're so cool and interesting to talk about. I think Jagex really cooked here, so I really want to hear what people think about these, and if you disagree, if you agree, whatever. Going on to the next one, the dual crossbows. Honestly, no notes. No notes. 10 of 10, no notes. I actually do have notes, but what I find interesting here is that these are pretty obviously Ascension crossbows, right? From RS3. Like, anybody who's like thought about RS3 at all knows what these are. If you're a bit of a lore head, like me, I'm a little bit of a lore head. The Ascension guys got powerful from the corpse of Guthix, from what I remember. Which, if these are coming for this raid, is the big reveal that Guthix is already dead. I don't know. That could be interesting. But other than that, these are super cool. And, I feel like this was truly the only way to get around the Ruby Bolt problem in RuneScape. What can you do? That's a whole nother discussion entirely. So if you wanted to have a discussion about bolts in RuneScape, let me know. I'll ramble about bolts in RuneScape for 30 minutes or whatever. 50% effect chance to trigger. I think this is all necessary because even existing as these crossbows are essentially just old blowpipe. Hey guys, guess what? We put pre-nerf blowpipe in the raid. Cool, awesome. That's fine. That's making it crossbows, putting it in the raid. Awesome, cool. And this could be a jumping off point to discuss bolts in the future and how they work. So I think that's a great way to implement this. And these are so cool. Like, come on. These are sick. These are so awesome. Obviously, Jagex is limiting the amount of bolt variants they're making right now for obvious reasons. These things are going to shred, and my only concern is that they might be too strong with diamond bolts. If these things are super accurate with diamond bolts to help you with accuracy rolls, this might be a little too strong. I would love to see a beta for this. I don't think calcs will be enough to figure this one out. I think a beta is needed to see how these things are gonna do. I feel like Zulrah is gonna get deleted by these things, like deleted, which is fine. It's a 2015 boss. It's 11 years old. I think the Ascension crossbows are less about talking about, you know, yay, we got the old blowpipe back, and more about let's have a discussion about bolts in this game, because Ruby bolts are stupid and broken, and they probably need to be fixed. The last of them all, the Tsar Ket Breaker. Why is this here? All right, that's my only question. Why is this here? Cool item. Love how it looks. It's red, like Inquisitors is. Why is it here? Tazar in Guthix raid with a God Wars raid? I don't know, whatever. So let's talk about this weapon. So everybody's seen this part. You know, Thrust has a 5-tick attack speed. It's a vertical scythe as opposed to horizontal like the scythe is, right? You know, super cool, love this. You know, cool way to do it. Damage targets in a line. You know, you can do a smash attack that is a 3-tick repeating attack that's fast. Awesome, love this in a Mega Rare. Some uniqueness in how it feels and what it's capable of doing. I was really scared that it was just going to be a 5-tick stat stick, but it isn't. And this thing is going to be really transformative on how you melee things. Because people might have noticed... Okay, so you can see here that the special effect rolls damage up to 7 times, depending on how many defenses are higher than the opponent's crush defense. This thing does consistent damage on crush weak enemies so hard. Good lord, this thing is going to hurt on crush weak enemies. Like, this thing is just going to wreck house on crush weak enemies. Like, to the point where this effect is kind of breaking containment on how much damage this thing is consistently doing. This thing is just putting out such high number that it's kind of insane what this thing is able to pull off. In terms of max hit, I'm pretty sure it's exactly the same as Scythe's at 87 with Best in Slot. So Torva helmet, Oath plate, body and legs, it's the same max hit in Full Inquisitors. But we have all forgotten something that it completely transforms how this weapon is going to play. And I don't think anybody else has really realized this, so I'm going to zoom in for it. Let me look right here. See that? You see that right there? That's a range 3 weapon when not on smash. That's 3 range. You can't do a 3 range flinch. You have to do one of 2 things to do like a Verzik flinch, for example, right? So what I mean, so what flinching is in RuneScape essentially is you can walk back, you can right click, get into melee range and walk back. This thing being 3 range means you can't flinch from here because you can hit from these 2 tiles. You can't flinch from here because you can hit on this tile. You have to be this far away for you to actually run into range if your run is on, and you would hit with these 2. So this melee weapon on the spike combat style works completely differently than any other melee weapon in the game, and I think that rocks. I love that, because if you want to flinch now like normal, what you would do is you would swap to smash, do an attack, and swap into the thrust attack style. If that is how it works, which I believe it does based on how range and getting pulled mechanics works in RuneScape, this is so cool. This is the coolest thing, because not only can you stand 2 tiles and hit something with a melee weapon, so like you're running, you take this to chambers and you're walking off poison, you can walk around in a 3x3 and keep hitting the boss. If you don't want to get poisoned at all, I think you would get poisoned a little bit, but still, you'd be able to pull off some crazy stuff with this. So yeah, this is super awesome, and I think this is the best thing for the weapon. This is the coolest part. of the weapon by far. And I hope that this is how it works, and it's not just... It doesn't just drag you into melee range like usual, like a scythe does. I hope it is legit actually 3 range. I genuinely hope so, because if that number is right and that's how it works, then having to approach melee differently with a mega rare is how I want it to be. You're going to be using this thing all the time, and having the newest weapon that you use for a lot of things interact with the game's combat mechanics uniquely is like exactly what I want from a mega rare. Simply yet uniquely. Mastering how this attack works will be the coolest part of this mega rare, in my opinion. Other than that, I really hope they do a beta for this item as well, because judging by early calcs, this thing is looking to do ridiculous consistent damage on things that are just not supposed to be getting wrecked this hard. I want things to be more powerful. I don't want the game to get nuked by this thing. So, once again, super awesome item. I love the concept here. I love the design. Love what they're doing. Just turn it down a little bit. Just turn the knob a little down. That's all. That's all. And yeah, that's all my thoughts on these items. Let me know what you think. I love talking about this game, or you can flame me for how dog shit my opinions are. I don't know, or care. And yeah, goodbye.